Hey everyone, this is Mike, and today we're going to be taking a look at World Flipper. World Flipper is a gacha pinball game, I guess would be the best way to describe it. And I personally never really thought that I would get into this because my friends have been recommending it to me for like the past 2 weeks. But eventually I caved in, gave it a try, and since I'm making this video, you can guess that I actually quite like this game. So what's it all about? How does it play? And is it free to play friendly? Because that is very important for these mobile games as well. So first of all, for the free to play part, I am completely free to play in this game, and I've been able to draw plenty of characters and that kind of stuff. When it comes to endgame, apparently there isn't like a lot of ways that you can get currency to gacha on characters, but we'll have to wait and see if they change that in the future. It is developed by Cygames, who have also developed games like Granblue Fantasy, and that game is also known to have a lot of freebies in it as well every now and then. So I'm quite curious to see how it will end up going in this game as well, because it's still a very new game. So for gameplay, we have a few different things that we have access to us, but I'll talk about the general gameplay first. So in general, you have a trash mob phase, I guess you could say, where you just fight a bunch of mini monsters, and then you go into stage 2 where you fight a boss. Of course, there are also boss fights and the labyrinth, which is kind of like a boss rush mode, where you just fight the boss and that's it. The way it works is you combine a cast of characters. You choose 6 characters, you make a team out of them, and then they each have their own abilities and that kind of stuff. So each character has normal passives, they also have an active ability, and depending on if they are in the leader slot, the main slot, or the support slot, certain abilities and passives will be available or will not be available. When it comes to then playing in the actual gameplay, you're basically just flippering your characters against the boss, trying to build up a combo meter, because the higher the combo goes, the stronger your flip will be. It's called the power flip. You can also see it in the color of the 2 flippers at the bottom of the screen. There's 3 different levels. The higher the level, the more powerful your power flip will be. And then also, depending on who is your leader character in your team, the power flip will have different effects. You'll see it as well in the different comms that I'm showing. One of the characters makes it so that you fly through everything and do some AoE damage, and then the other one has like a big spinning sword around him, for example. Just to give you like 2 different characters types that have that. So that's kind of your gameplay. And then of course, over time you also generate a skill bar, and when the skill bar is full, you can activate the skill of that character and their sub-character. Because the way you build your team is you choose a leader, then next to that leader you choose 2 other main characters, and then you also have 3 supporting characters for each team, and then you can also grant or give every team their weapon. And you always have like 3 teams of 2 characters, I guess you could say, in one big team, but I'll show that in just a second as well. Now, when it comes to upgrading your characters, making your team stronger, there's a few things that you can do. First of all, of course, we have leveling. The higher the level, the higher your base stats are going to be. Each character, depending on their rarity, is capped at a certain level cap, but you can use items that you get from the story, from doing raid bosses, that kind of stuff, to uncap your characters to higher levels. And the maximum cap that characters can go to is 100. So once you reach 100, then leveling will not be a thing anymore. Whilst you're leveling, you're also going to be unlocking different nodes on your mana board, which you can then spend certain elemental currency on to actually activate those different nodes. Those different nodes on the mana board will grant you passive benefits like more HP, more damage, that kind of stuff. But the big nodes on the mana board will also unlock your passive abilities, or will enhance already like abilities that you already unlocked or stuff like that, or your actual active skill. Other than this, of course, we also have weapons that we can give to our characters, and these weapons are usually gotten through the labyrinth, which is kind of like that boss rush mode I was talking about, or through the actual raid bosses in the game. Certain weapons can drop from bosses, other weapons you have to buy with boss coins. Boss coins are dropped from these raid bosses, so when you fight a raid boss, you get boss coins, and then you use the boss coins in the boss coin shop to buy the weapon, or to buy certain materials, or even a character in some cases, to get what you basically want. So you can farm for those very like easily. Well, not necessarily easily, but there's always an end to the grind, I guess you could say. In certain mobile games that I've played, You're basically just grinding for gear, and as long as you're not getting the gear that you want, you just keep grinding until you finally have that one piece of loot that you wanted with the right rolls and the right damage and that kind of stuff. Whereas in this game, you just grind the coins that you need, and then as soon as you have the coins, you just go to the shop and you buy the weapon that you want. To upgrade the weapons, you have a system called limit breaking. Basically, you just get 2 copies of the same weapon, you put them together, and now you have a level 2 weapon, and you can do that 5 times. So that's kind of how that works. Now, to upgrade the mana board, as I said, you need elemental currency. In the event tab of the game, there are a few different tabs that are always available. First of all, we have the leveling dungeon. This is where you just go and level your characters. Not only is there an increased experience gain when you're doing the dungeon, but at the end of the dungeon you also get 2 types of currency. You get a green currency, which is basically like your gold in this game, and you get a blue currency, which is actually experience currency. The way this works is when you basically get a new character or something that you want to incorporate in one of your teams, you just go to the leveling tab, you insert your character, and then you just press the big blue button, and you can just keep leveling them until they have the level that you want, and then you can just kind of use that blue currency to level your characters. That's also the tab where you can go to limit break your characters to higher level caps and that kind of stuff. Now, other than just the leveling dungeon, you also have the elemental dungeon. This changes every day, so there are 6 different elements in the game, 7 days in a week, meaning that from Monday through Saturday, you're going to be having a different element, and then on Sunday, you're going to be able to farm any element that you desire. Lastly, we still have, of course, the labyrinth over there as well, which is a boss rush mode where you can farm weapons as well. And then last but not least, actual events will take place in that event tab as well. For example, right now we have the Christmas event going on, so you can take on the evil snowman or whatever that thing is that you're going to be fighting. So other than this, of course, outside of the event tab, we have the raid boss tab where you fight your raid bosses, which I already briefly talked about before. You can do raid bosses with up to 3 people. When you are fighting with other players, you can do combo actions. So when you or somebody else uses a skill from their character, you can actually combo together with them. And if you create a 4 or larger combo chain, you actually kind of do a burst attack on the boss in the end as well, which does a bunch of damage and can of course instantly floor bosses or stun them or stuff like that, because that is a really strong attack. So that's where co-op kind of comes in. The cool thing about co-op as well is that if you and the person that you're playing with are both following each other, then you basically get to leech off of them for free. So when, for example, a friend of mine is hosting a raid boss and he's following me and I'm following him, if I then join his lobby, I don't have to pay stamina to actually play with him. And the other way around as well, if I'm hosting a boss, he can come play with me without needing any stamina to do so. So if you get a few friends to play this game with you, then you can basically make it so that you can get 3 times the amount of raid bosses in for the same amount of stamina spent, because it is a mobile game, so it does require stamina to play. And then lastly, we still have the story. The story has 2 different modes. You have easy mode, you have EX mode, which is kind of like your hard mode. And this is something that you want to be spending your time on at the start, and then you graduate towards, because story mode will also unlock these raid bosses as you progress through the story as well. And then once you're done with the story, once you're done with EX mode, then you should kind of shift your focus more onto unlocking that mana board, leveling your characters to 100, doing the raid bosses, because the raid bosses also give you that currency to uncap your characters to higher level caps as well and stuff like that. So that's definitely something that I would recommend you do then once you are finished with that story. So all in all, I think this game is pretty fun. The gameplay is really unique and something that I really have not seen before yet. And since the gacha seems to be relatively fine, I've gotten a few 5 stars already and I've barely done any draws, to be honest. So it feels like it's relatively free to play friendly. We'll have to see what we get for Christmas and maybe New Year's gifts as well, since it is Cygames and they are known to be relatively generous with the way that they give out free stuff to their player base as well. So I have to wait and see how the game turns out, because it is still a relatively new game, but so far I'm really enjoying it. Me and my 2 other friends have been playing it pretty much every day, doing raids together, doing some stuff on our own as well, of course, like those elemental dungeons and the labyrinths. But it's been fun so far, and I definitely recommend you to try it out as well, because after all, it is a free game. and it doesn't really hurt to try it out. So that's pretty much going to be it for me. World Flipper, it's free, it's out in the both Android and iOS stores. I'll probably leave a link in the description if I don't forget about it. And yeah, that's pretty much going to be it for me. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.